Hello and welcome to Street Smart. I'm Anu Chakravarti with the Global Center for Youth Futures here in Atlanta. And here is the problem. People are tired of waiting for the kinds of change that make life a little easier, a little more dignified. Yet, Generation Z, the young people we see so often on TV, chafing against the systems in place, are not immune to self-doubt and paralysis. Our guest today is just shy of technically belonging to Gen Z. He is the youngest of the millennial generation, but he's more Gen Z for all practical purposes. He's a mentor to them and to the even younger under 10, under 15 crowd of Generation Alpha today. Chinedu Kalu joins us from Abuja, Nigeria. The ripples of change he has set in motion suggest that when one person sets an intention and begins somewhere, there is significant positive change that happens. He comes from rural roots. He went on to university to study computer science. And in the last couple of years, he has started his own company. And he could have stopped there, but he did more. He co-founded Next Gen's team that taps into young talent in rural areas. He mentors them in STEAM applications, robotics, mobile apps, and AI. And he prepares and platforms young teams onto national pitch competitions as well as more local efforts to design solutions to basic needs. Welcome, Chinedu. So pleased to have you here.
Thank you.
Tell us about the first few experiences you had as a STEM educator. And we'll talk about your evolution from a STEM educator to a STEAM educator in a minute. But you began teaching STEM to young people. And how did that come about? And what did you observe?
All right. In one of the universities in Nigeria, I had the opportunity to do my industrial IT. So over there, I was just new to mobile app development, so I had to pay to learn. So while I was learning, they asked us to get ready for a program called Teen Hack, where you teach teenagers mobile app and Scratch on our website. So I was opportune to head the mobile app team. So there, my role was to ensure that you teach the young people mobile app development using MIT App Inventor, right? Okay. So that alone triggered me, first set me up as a team lead, and then also as a facilitator. So we taught the students mobile app development, helping them to refine their ideas. But what sets apart was when we found out that a 3-year-old child and a 4-year-old child were able to team up to build a game using Scratch in that project.
Yeah.
So that got all our attention because number one, we thought they were too small to do that. And then secondly, not knowing each other, but they were able to come together and found a way to build an app, to build a game. So that alone left a lasting impression on me. I was like, okay, with the right tool and the right teaching environment, we're able to get these young people to think out of the box and solve solutions. So that alone was what motivated me to keep doing tech and teaching tech.
I'm wondering how a 3 and 4-year-old came to a class such as this or a training such as this, and the fact that they are able to build a game and pick it up so quickly and then generate a whole new product is just fascinating. Tell us a little bit about the state of STEM education in Nigeria and in rural areas in particular. Can you give us a little bit of insight into that?
All right. STEM education in Nigeria is evolving, is growing. There's a lot of noise and buzzes around STEM education in Nigeria, especially in the age of AI, right?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things going on in terms of STEM. A lot of organizations are teaching STEM. A lot of schools are incorporating it, but there are a lot of noise around it in the urban area. In the rural community, it's almost the opposite. For example, in my village, they've not done anything tech. They don't understand it. They've not done it before, right? Yeah. So I code there. I talk to them about STEM and tech, and they think I'm sounding foreign. Inside the rural community, you see that they are really far behind the urban area. So for us, this is two separate worlds. So trying as much as you can see that will bring them closer and then bridge that gap between the urban areas and the rural areas in terms of STEM.
But you would need some basic infrastructure, right, to even begin to teach STEM, like computers, or you would expect some basic fluency in science or math. Can you teach them those things relatively
All right.
quickly and bring them up to speed where they are able to actually engage with the material?
What we are trying to do to bridge this gap is find a way to teach it in the local languages, right? So we no longer want to leverage on English to actually do that because you might not speak as fluent or speak as easy, and
Yes.
also they will need a lot of explanations. So what we try to do is to teach these materials in the local languages. The first thing is for them to understand it and know how it works, and then gradually we can find a way to let them try that in English, right? We've tried and it has worked out perfectly. So we have to explain as much as we can in English, and then their teacher tried to explain it, re-explain it enough, and they actually did everything we expect them to do, right? So we don't rush them. What we do is that we leave it on the very basic of the basics in
Yeah.
terms of tech, like using MIT, using Scratch for the drag and drop, using code spaces for the 3D designs. All these ones are basic but not very basics, right? So we try to use that to teach them in the local languages. So when they're able to grasp the understanding, we can actually find a way to do it in English.
And I would imagine that navigating the software remains the same regardless of whether you're speaking in English or Hausa. So it's just a matter of a spontaneous
Yes.
translation going on effectively as. So you don't really translate the materials on paper. It's just oral translation happening on the spot. That's how you do
Yes,
it.
yes. Currently, we are building softwares that will recognize leveraging on AI models right now. So we are building solutions that will actually make these materials speak the local languages like Igbo, Yoruba, right? So they hear the materials in their local languages. The materials, for example, if I want to teach about coding, we have to build a software where you can the AI can understand the Igbo language and then respond back in Igbo language so that it will be easier for them to learn. Our goal is not for them to maybe learn the language or the English. Our goal is for them to first understand how the concepts work. Then we can try to see how they can do it in English.
I suppose the plurality of local languages in Nigeria could be something of a challenge for a relatively young program because you would require personnel and staff and a lot of resources to spread out your program, from urban into the rural and then across regions. Where are you focused on right now? You mentioned Igbo, that would be mainly the southeastern regions of Nigeria.
Yes, we're focused on the southeastern of Nigeria, which is Igbo. But then I've been in the north for a very long time, right? But I think the main focus for us is in the northern region because that is where you see less of the people that go to school. So we're trying as much as can to work with educators who are from the northern region, so we can translate as much as possible to get them to understand these things.
I see. Tell me a little bit about moving the focus from STEM to STEAM. When did that happen, and what was the impetus behind including the A for arts education in a STEM context?
Everyone knows about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is what everyone is talking about. But I encountered someone on LinkedIn who wrote art in medicine. And what he does is to find a way to use it and program it in a way that you're able to get the older people to explore the virtual reality experience. And then I told myself, okay, there are a lot of arts people around. And of course, arts is an art of science. You see that there are a lot of persons who can do an architectural draw, who can draw things. So we found a way to see, okay, you can creativity on a particular thing. So for example, when we're looking for a UI UX designer, we normally go for people of the art background then who actually do the UI UX for us. Why? Because they understand color, they understand community, they understand people, they understand creativity. So they bring this creativity inside whatever we are building. So we see that we build a website that is far better and more aesthetically beautiful, where use 3D animations and models to build things, right? We leverage on a lot of art people because they are the ones that can design the things while the STEM people will now write the coding behind it. So we saw that we cannot separate the art from the science as such. You can think is innovation. So with that mindset, we found out that merging these things together will really make us to reach out to more community, more people to find a way to hit it together.
Yes, that sounds so right. I recall, Steve Jobs of Apple fame studied calligraphy, and he was actually extremely focused on design and on user experience. There were teams that could handle the software side, but he was very curious about constantly polishing the way the font looked and the way you flip through the screen and the user functionality, aesthetics aspect. So if Steve Jobs felt that was important, I'm sure there's something incredibly relevant and
it is because of course if things, especially in the world we are right now, have to be beautiful in the eye, then people will start checking out, okay, what does it help? If you give me a website, for example, that you just plain, no matter how, even if it's working even if it's solving my problem, I would think is not worth my time.
Right. So subject matter expertise. You have
Yes.
people with subject matter expertise from different art backgrounds or humanities to bring that to the table when you're designing a tech or
yes.
Yeah, I see that. You talked a lot about the importance of hands-on, inclusive, and practical training. So what does that look like in your programs? Can you tell us a story or give us an example, make that come alive for us?
When I was growing up, I didn't learn how to read very fast. I didn't learn how to talk very fast. And I was slow to adapt to all these things. So I found out that the fastest way for me to learn is to do it with my hands. I just have to do it. I mean, don't tell me the stories. You can tell me the stories from now to tomorrow. I'm going to forget them. I will not grasp as much. But when it's practicals, when I'm pressing keys, when I'm doing things, I see that I learn faster and better. You don't need to tell me stories about how to build a thing, right? You get me the materials, get the people the laptops, the systems, get them the materials they need, show them how to write the code, how to piece it together with their hands, and they will do that. That has helped us to streamline a bit about the language, about English and the rest, because right now we're not telling a lot of stories. We just say one or two things and then get them to do this. Okay, you're going to piece together a robotic car. It doesn't need much explanation. It doesn't need a whole note about that. You show them the car, show them all the pieces together, they piece it together, and then the car moves. If you sit them down and tell them stories, the car is moving, they cannot do it themselves, right? They go home and they forget it. But if I go home and tell my parents or my friends, I saw a robotic car today, I pieced it together, wrote the code, car moved, and I was so happy. I rewrote the code. That alone makes you understand them more.
Yes.
Makes you understand them more. So that is what we do. We do less of talking and ensure that you practically understand what you're doing with your hands. And of course, the way the brain works, the more you're working with your hand, the more the brain is registering what you're doing. And because you've done it before, you'll be able to piece it together, even if you don't understand that particular one. So that's why we do more of hands-on than the theory.
You are ambassador for Technovation. You've had a lot of successes pretty early on.
Technovation is it's a global girls challenge where across the world girls form a team and then pick a problem around the environment that align with the 17 SDGs and then build a solution to that problem. Now,
so SDG, you're referring to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Development Goals, yes. The Sustainable Development Goals, right? So we have 17 of them. So the girls pick a problem. It could be in health. It could be in gender equality. It could be in education, no poverty, clean water, whatever it is. Now, so the girls pick up a problem. In this innovation for Abuja and Abia State, I've worked with over 500 girls. Well, and I've done over 250 teams. I've worked with teams that picked up a problem on mental health, about water, climate change, and so on. And then we teach them how to build an app, because the solution must be a mobile application or an AI. So we teach them how to code to build a mobile app that solves a problem. Then we teach them how to do research to that problem, and also to write a business plan to their problem. So this is what we do with the girls for 6 months. They are in three categories: the beginners, the junior, and the senior. So the beginners is from 8 to 12 years old. The junior is from 13 to 15. Then the senior is from 16 to 18.
Okay.
Right. So after working with them for 6 months, they will do their pitch and submit all the deliverables. Then technovation judges judge them, and then whoever gets to the final will travel to either the US or India to do their final presentation. So that has given us opportunity to work with a lot of students and a lot of schools. And more especially, I love the rural community, right? So students who haven't heard about tech before or who have not heard about technovation before, because one, you are teaching them the SDG, which is new to them. Secondly, you are teaching them coding, which is new to them. Thirdly, you are helping them to identify problem and do research, which is new to them. So you see that at the end of the day, you will see that transition from a point of not knowing to a point of fully understanding these things. So that is why I love working with the rural communities in regards to technovation.
So you reach out to the schools and then you build partnerships around the technovation projects, or does technovation already have relationships with certain rural schools and that's the pool from where you recruit girl teams?
No, we go to the schools, we explain what technovation is, we explain the successes they're going to get from it, and we tell them the importance of it. Then we build relationship with the schools as an organization, and then they give us the go. We also reach out to the board of directors of the schools, and then they give us a go ahead and the teacher to work with us. So we start working with the students.
I remember you had told me a story about the girls finding a coding error and then correcting it while they were on stage. Can you tell us that story again for the benefit of the audience? I enjoy listening to it, as many times as you will tell it to me.
That is one of my best experience as a tech instructor, educator. Whenever I remember, it gave me satisfaction. So where I used to work before, they reached out to us that they needed a facilitator to go work with students in Kebbi State. Now, remember, they told us this student, one, don't speak English. Two, they don't know what they're going to talk about. Three, they've not heard about it before. Right? So they don't know how we are going to do it, but you just have to find a way to do it. I relate with rural communities a lot, but it's new because it's another language, it's Hausa. So when we went there, we saw the 20 girls, and we had the robotics part, so where I taught the girls hardware and coding. Now, we spoke with the girls, asked them what they wanted to be in the future. The 20 of them said they wanted to be midwives. We were surprised. We were like,
midwives.
And that was only what they know because they've not been exposed to any other thing. And when they are done with school as much as they can, they just go marry, right? So we started on the day one to them, okay, fine. I opened my laptop and they refused. They don't understand it. They don't know what it is. So I had to hold their hands to move the mouse pad. They were also excited seeing the mouse moving. One even had to leave, say she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't understand it, right? But then the chief of staff of the state sent for her to come back that she must learn it. So she came back the next day, right? I kept telling them about the mouse. It doesn't bite. Just move it and move it and move it. Yeah. They did it a bit and they got interested in it, right? We didn't do much that day. So the first day I just told them about what we want to do, what they are going to get at the end of the day. Then the second day, she came back. Yeah. Then we told them how they're using microbeats, right? I brought out the microbeats and told them, okay, fine. So this is what we're going to do. I was able to teach them. The one they don't understand, they use hours to explain it for them, right? At the end of the 10 days, the people that cannot move a mouse, we are able to write codes themselves. 10 days, one had a laptop in the house.
Okay.
I didn't know she had a laptop. So on the 5th day, she brought it. I was like, she was able to write this code. I was like, you did this all by yourself. She was like, yes. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then in 10 days, they were able to understand what a microbeat is, explain it in Hausa and in English, write the code themselves, and that was it. Now, when we left, after 3 months, they called me that they registered in the National JET competition, which is the National Science Competition in Nigeria for secondary schools. I was like, what are you guys going to do there? I mean, what are you guys going
You
to do? They told me
doubted your own team,
I
Chinedu?
mean, I couldn't imagine it because JETS competition is a very, very critical competition where you compete with every school in Nigeria, both the private school and the government schools,
Yes.
right? So I'm like, okay, fine. They were calling me to mentor them. Like, okay, fine, no problem. So what have you guys done? They said they presented the problem, which is using the microbit to check the level of water so that it doesn't overflow into the community before it overflows or rises beyond the normal level.
Yeah.
It will send an alarm to the community. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I taught them how to use the microbit to measure water level in the soil. They were able to expand their knowledge on how it's going to help them to stop flooding in the states.
Right.
Which was far more than what I've taught them. So I started mentoring them, and they were able to pass the second stage. Now the final stage was where they have to build a model and then come down to Abuja for the final stage. Remember, that was their first time of doing anything technology, anything tech. So they came down to Abuja. Together we built the model. Is on my page in my LinkedIn. We are awake very much late in the night, but then we are done building the model. The next day, I needed to go teach somewhere. So I wrote the code myself.
Yeah.
Ensure that it was working and it was okay so that they can, when they call them, they'll start pitching, right? After preparing the code, I left. They called me on the phone that the code is not working. And they went to the stage. Of course, it's their first time, though their pitch was a little bit rusty because they were flowing in English, right? So they said that the main speaker, the girl, the one that had the laptop, she erased the whole code that I prepared from A to Z, erased it.
She erased it.
When she erased it, there was dead silence in the hall. The hall was packed with engineers. It was done by the National Society of Engineers. So the hall was packed with engineers, full stack. So there was silence in the hall when she erased it. She started writing. She has never done it before. I've not seen her do it before. She wrote the code from the first line down to the last line using Mech code.
Okay.
She uploaded it in the microbit, then took the microbit, put it in the model that was supposed to do something, and then press the play button. And it did when the water was able to get to a particular level, it sounded the alarm. It did every single thing it was supposed to do.
Bravo.
The whole engineer stood up and clapped for them. The whole engineer stood up. Now, they were told to wait while every other person left. Then the engineers asked them to re-explain how they wrote the code, how they understood the code, and how the model works. Now, that took them to the National Emergency and Maintenance Agency in Nigeria in charge of natural disasters and flooding. The director asked them to come to explain what they were able to do because it was just amazing that some girls from Kebbi State can do this. So
and not just some girls starting from literally zero.
It was incredible. Where I was teaching, tears dropped from my eyes. Not because I just wanted to cry, but because I knew when I held their hands to move the mouse pad, and then I have them on the stage. In fact, the girl that ran away was part of the girls that did that. She was very confident. So that dropped tears to my eyes. So with that, I knew that, okay, the language barrier aside, these girls can actually do a lot. That was the reason why I included gender equality on my organization, because these girls can do way beyond just early marriage and cooking in the kitchen. They can solve problems both in their community and all around them. So that's a story that I keep remembering every time I start. It's exciting.
Yeah, and in today's telling of the story, Chinedu, you added so many background details. You didn't tell me that before, so I learned a lot. And truly, it's just incredible what can be done if you can just harness this.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Sort of just to round out the story a bit, Chinedu, give us some insight into what happens when the parents whose ambitions for the girls may be limited, may not amount to much, when they see their girls go out and do these things, to be invited by government agencies to tell them how this works or how to solve that problem. What does it do to the parents? How does it shift their outlook? Because that is important cultural change, without community buy-in and parent support, it's hard
Yeah,
to move this
yeah,
forward.
of course, of course. Immediately after that 10 days, we asked them again, what do you guys want to be in the future? Now, that one that had a laptop told us she wanted to be an engineer. Just 2 out of 20 still want to be midwives. The rest wanted to be something else, generally something else, because we taught some how to put some robotics together, and then how to shoot a robot in the sky. So some said they wanted to be pilots, space engineers, and the whole thing. So first of all, we've shifted the mindset of the girls from just wanted to be a midwife, what they know, to something else. Then the parents, right? The parents coming to see that their child who didn't know a particular thing now can speak out in front of people, get invited by government officials. First of all, they knew that it's not all about just giving their children off to get married. They're gonna achieve something better. Then secondly, they were able to say, okay, fine, continue doing this. We are going to give you some support that you need. Then thirdly, you can see the excitement in their faces when they are girls up there in the stage, or they are invited by of course, the girls went to see the governor when they get back to Kebbi State, which on a normal day, they won't have gone to meet the governor. So seeing the children having the opportunity to go meet the state government and the state governor, have lunch with the state government, and having the ability to now teach other schools, they were really excited. You could see the face, you could see the excitement on their faces. You could see gradually the mindset shift from what they knew before to what they now want their children to achieve in the future. Well, I've seen it in so many other places. I've seen a parent of deaf children who think that their children, my friend's organization, she works with the deaf. Now, their parents will tell you that they don't want to waste money on their children because what are they going to achieve? And they are among the finalists, and they are traveling to India for the final. And then you are seeing the parents who thought that their children cannot do anything. Now you can see the excitement in their faces. You never knew my own child can achieve to this. So this mindset change from parents thinking that their children cannot amount to much because they have maybe disabilities or environmental challenges, to seeing them in the world stages, I think it does a lot to them.
Yeah, just to make sure I understand, the team that went to India made it to the finals?
Yes, they made it to the finals. So
there was girls with hearing disabilities on the team?
Yes.
Okay.
They were the five of them are girls with hearing disabilities, the 5 of them.
This is the kind of story that energizes you, and you just want to keep going and doing more, because it seems like everything is possible if you can dream bigger, and if somebody is ready to see the potential and do sustained work with young people. I mean, it just seems like, the world is full of possibilities. Well, thank you so much, Chinedu. Really, it is quite amazing what you have achieved in a relatively short amount of time. You're showing us what is possible, and we need that. I like to think I'm articulating the feelings of a lot of young people who I've spoken with, when they feel discouraged or they feel demoralized, to think of what is possible and that someone is doing it, taking steps in that direction, I think is a wonderful and necessary thing. We are rooting for you, Next Gen's team. Chinedu, keep doing the good work and come back again to tell us more stories of your continued impact.
We will.
That's all we have time for today. Until our next episode, bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.